The world's and we all know it. Let's talk about it.
Oh, hi. Thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage.
Viewer discretion do be advised because this is going to be a hard topic today. So I just want to start off by saying, oh my gosh. Sorry. Are you for real?
You started crying? Jesus!
I'm not even joking. I just want to start off by saying that this is in no way to attack the child in this situation. I think it's very important to be noted before anybody even comes at me for defending the child in the situation. I know there's a lot of discourse around her. She is a child. She is a child, and it's very important to remember that the environment she's grown up in is the only environment she really knows. If we knew better growing up in our environment, that is because we grew up in an environment that taught us that. She is in a very different environment. We were taught other things. Piper Raquel, I'm sure people have heard of her. I'm sure people know of her. If you're clicking this video, I'm sure you're aware. And I'm not here to get into much of her history right now. I really don't know that much of it. I just know a lot of stuff that is very uncomfortable, just the gist of it, and I'm not a fan. I know that I'm not a fan of the adults around her in probably any way. And as a child who hasn't been through what she's been through, I've been through somewhat similar things, though you don't realize it in that moment, but it does affect you a lot later. I just want people to know it's not her fault she's there. And anybody that blames her, please look in a mirror. Just look in a mirror. Piper Raquel is currently 17 years old. Her birthday isn't until August. That is very important to note. I was scrolling on TikTok, just doing my little thing, and I really don't know why it got suggested to me. I don't watch this kind of content, but the Bop House, yeah, the Bop House got suggested to me, and I think I've seen like maybe one video made about them on here. I really don't know much about them. I didn't know much about them. And I was just scrolling on TikTok, saw this video, didn't think anything of it. But then I saw Piper and then I was like, anything that this girl is in is questionable to me. So I went to the comments and I saw people arguing a lot about this situation and calling out these people, calling them boomers, saying that this is weird, saying she's too young. And I was like, well, what is this necessarily? Like, what's going on here? I look at the personal accounts of the other girls in the video. I look up their names and I look up their ages. They're adults. Full-fledged adults. So when I first saw the video, I didn't really think much. I just knew that I knew Piper Raquel and I knew my discomfort around her age and how she gets presented online. Again, mostly by the adults around her. Please remember, she is a child who grew up in this environment. She isn't going to know any different. I'm so tired of seeing people attack her when she doesn't know any different. Again, I don't know her full story. I think that there was some other content group she was a part of at some point that I'm pretty sure fell apart. Again, I don't really know everything, right? I just know that I'm here to talk about this right now. So please, like, if you do have more information or you want to keep this conversation going about Piper, feel free to talk about it in the comments. Just please refrain from blaming the child in this situation. Thank you. I get it, she's an adolescent, but and I get it. As you get older, you learn things, you start to know better, your brain starts changing, forming, whatever, right? But think about when this started for her. Would you be a normal person after that? Okay, past the whole like ranting on that, let's actually get into this. The Bop House. They make content on TikTok and another platform that we all should know. I don't think I can talk about that platform necessarily on here, so we're just gonna call it Phony Brands. So Phony Brands is the main, I mean, yes, they post a lot of stuff on TikTok, but their main income source and the main content that they are promoting is their Phony Brands. Again, Piper's 17. Now hear me out. I don't think adults should be inviting children to their Phony Brands content house. I also just don't really think adults should be friends with children. Now that's not me saying like, oh, you just turned 18 and the friends you've known while you've been going to school your whole life, you can't talk to anymore. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you're an adult and you don't know this child and you know their age now and you're talking to this child and you're befriending this child, that's a little bit sus, friend. I'm not even gonna call you friend, actually. That's a little bit sus, weirdo. I don't really think that it's, there's a lot of stuff that goes into this situation specifically as compared to like others, because I'm not gonna act like this kind of stuff isn't case by case. Like, yes, there are people that have been going to school forever, they finally turn 18 and they have a friend that's 17. I'm not saying that they can't be friends. That's a whole different situation. I'm talking about people that befriend people that are children while they are adults and they did not know them prior to becoming an adult. That's weird. That's just weird. I'm sorry. That's just weird. And that's not saying you can't like interact with people, I guess. But that's just, I'm like literally rambling. Y'all get the idea. These women are adults. And so then I was like, that's interesting. They had a link tree, I'm pretty sure, something like that in their bios. And so I clicked it because I was curious, like, what's going on? Why are people so upset about this? I get it. They're adults. That's weird. You know, Piper's in clothes that are very uncomfortable. In some videos, she's less covered than the adults. And that's something that a lot of people brought up. And I agree, that's uncomfortable. And if I show any of the content up here, I will likely be covering her entire body just because, like, that's uncomfortable. I'm not comfortable with showing that. I'm really not even comfortable looking at it. I've been sitting on filming this video for days because of the discomfort I have with it. But I feel like it's a very important topic to talk about, and I think it's important to spread awareness about it and the kind of stuff that goes on the internet and outside of the internet, because some of this stuff happens outside the internet, undocumented, and just, yeah. So that's how I found out that these people are promoting a phony brands or multiple phony brands, and that's what their entire content house is for. The discomfort and upset and just all of it that I felt in that moment, really just, I don't even know how to describe it. The fact that this kid's parents, or I think their mom is the main one, is allowing them to... And not only that, but the fact that these adults decided to So I'm not necessarily sure the exact number of people that are in this content house. I'm sure I can find something about it. But once I discovered this, I went through like one of their personal accounts, and the rest I kept to their Bop House account. On the Bop House account, I saw that there was this discourse between them and the Asian house, and I wasn't sure what that was about. We'll get into that later. And then I saw that they made a bunch of videos with Piper, and one of them literally jokes about the idea of her being a new member as a 17-year-old. Here's the funny thing. There's people defending them in the comments. I don't get that. Sorry, I don't get that. But their defense, a lot of them, is that Ash Trevino was there with her children. I disagree with that too. I'm not saying either of them were okay. I disagree with that too. That's all weird. And I disagree with Ash Trevino. I'm not gonna get into her either. So yeah, I disagree with that too. I'm gonna be real. I know I'm doing exactly what they want me to do right now. They want attention. I know that's what they're wanting. They are very much rage baiters. I know that this is what they want, but let's be real. I've got like 100 followers on here. Nobody knows who I am. The clout that they would possibly be getting from me would be like 0 to none. So... But I know that they want to be talked about. They want publicity. I'm aware, and I'm not going to act like I'm not. The reason I'm talking about it is the way they're going about it. Like, I think it's important to be addressed, and for them to just straight up be ignored on the internet or something. I think that people need to take some kind of action to change these kinds of things that happen, because it's not okay. There's all kinds of videos I can make about children on the internet and how they get targeted by adults and people in general, and not always for the same reasons, and it's horrible. But we're gonna sit at this one right now. Again, rambling. They teased the idea of her being in it, and they made quite a few videos with her. Some of them she is not as covered as the rest of the girls, and the rest of the girls ranging from, and I could be a little bit wrong here, but from my research, they range from like 19 years old up to like somewhere in their mid-20s. All I can say is, how are there this many people and nobody thought this was a bad idea? Actually, Somebody did. I wish I could remember her name right now. One member did wind up leaving. She claims it is solely because of this reason. Now, I'm sure that there's probably other things. I've seen a few other like drama things, like short snippets of arguments between the girls or whatever. She's claiming that this is like the main reason. I'll just play her video real quick. I won't speak for her.
It is about Piper, because one thing about me is that I'm never gonna do anything associated with a minor. Like, it is ridiculous that the Bop House would even do that when there's so many other people you can collab with that is over age, because we all know what you guys do, and I cannot tolerate that. I left the Bop House as well, and everyone's saying like, why are you not accepting the Bop House girls' apology? They're all apologizing to you, they're all apologizing to you, you're so rude, you're so rude. I told them, hey, I don't think this is cool if we did something like this, and then they found different ways to go around what I said, went off a technicality of like, oh yeah, but we didn't technically do this, we did this instead, but it's still on the borderline basis of what I said I'm not okay with, and then for them to be like, well, I'm sorry, you're upset, I'm sorry. That's the same basis of like, if you came to someone like, hey, if you do this, you're gonna upset me, just letting you know. They do it anyway, in a different way, and then come back and be like, hey, I don't know why you're upset, or like, my bad, like, I'm really sorry I made you upset. Would you accept their apology? Like, no, you wouldn't. So yeah, I don't really care for their apologies. I don't care that they're posting me and saying like, oh, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. I don't care. That's too little too late. I already said what I had to say. You didn't listen. You did it anyway. Didn't listen to me. So yeah, I took it on the internet.
So yeah, vocalizing that this, like, I think she was correct in that situation to vocalize her discomfort about that, because that is wrong, in my opinion. That's wrong, okay? And it's uncomfortable, it's weird. Along with the comments, I agree. I do feel like it falls into a category of yeah, she left because of her discomfort. She had expressed that she wasn't comfortable with it. They still went through with it, and she wound up leaving. Some people are saying that this could be a publicity stunt.
Just in case if you need to look stuff up.
Some people are saying that this is a publicity stunt. Others are saying like, you know, go you girl. I'm gonna sit somewhere in the middle. I think that the Bop House wants attention. I also feel like this girl genuinely left because of the discomfort that she felt in this moment. So yeah, I feel like that's why the drama between them, which this is probably where I should say that this girl wound up joining or creating, I'm not really sure which one it was, the Asian house, which is a completely different house, but I'm pretty sure it's within the same sphere of content creation and whatnot. Again, let's remember, 17 years old. To make this kind of content, you have to be at least 18. And for somebody to be 17, hanging out with these people, expressing that they want to be in this, because I saw comments saying that she's apparently saying she wants to be in it. I'm not sure how true that is. I'll do my research before I even include this part. If that's not true, I'm just gonna cut it out.
Piper, look at this comment.
Is Piper joining the Bop House?
Oh my god, I mean, like, people want me to, like, no, girl,
I mean, like, come on.
you're not even 18 yet, girl.
Literally, like, how many months?
But she's claiming that she wants to be part of this group, and they don't think that like, nobody's sitting here thinking that that's a little bit like worrisome. I'm not saying that it's wrong to go and make that kind of content. I'm not saying that you can't do what you want to do. Do what you want to do, babes. Do anything you want to do, I guess. Like, whatever, free will's a thing. I'm just saying it is worrying that this child has been raised in an environment where she has been constantly by her people around her guardians that are supposed to be protecting her, putting her onto the internet, you know, exploiting her. Because to me, she's a minor who's been exploited. That's all I see her as. I don't see her as a drama-filled anything. I see her as an exploited child. I don't think that's fair to her at all. And there's multiple people like this. I'm sure I can show you a few pictures right now, and I might make videos on them later. But there's quite a few people like this. It's uncomfortable, and most of them are women. And I'm not trying to make this a gender war or anything. I'm not trying to make this anything like that. I'm just pointing out the facts here. And it's not fair for any child to go through this. It's not fair for any child to be exploited, and it's not fair for anybody to be blaming the child for their abuse. Before anybody comes up in my comments with that, please, it's probably gonna get deleted. And if I don't delete it, I'm gonna leave it there so you can look like a clown, because genuinely, I don't think you should be attacking the kid in this situation. They're a kid. The people in the situation that, like, listen, I'm 21. Okay, I'm 21. I know better. There's people younger than me that know better, and people older than me that know better. But there's people that are younger than me that know better than to bring children into this kind of thing. So there's no excuse, really. There really isn't. Like, I can't sit here and act like there's a single excuse I can use for these girls other than, well, her mom gave us permission. Who cares? You have, like, the only devil's advocate I can say is she's not in the content that they mostly promote. She was just there for some TikToks and probably for some clout. That doesn't mean she's not being, like, promoted in an odd way. That doesn't mean that the people that follow this account aren't, like, adults more often than not. Or I'd hope. Oh my god. That's a whole other thing. So you're bringing a 17-year-old into a sphere full of adults at that. I've got a problem with that. And I've got a problem with the guardians. I've got a problem with the women that are in this house. I've got a problem with any adult around this child and other children that are being treated like this. And that's just not okay. And it's very uncomfortable. Because again, you have to be 18, at least in America, which is where we are, to film this kind of content. And she's still got a long ways to go. To bring a person into this kind of sphere continuously, in a way, it does mess with your brain. And I'm not saying like, oh, like, I'm just trying to express the fact that kids are vulnerable. And when she's been surrounded by nothing but content creation and realization and things surrounding her appearance, her body, and her attitude, and then she's brought around people like that, and that's like, I don't know. It's a very, to me, in my opinion, I'm not saying that this is exactly what's happening. I'm just saying, to me, it comes off as a form of and it's uncomfortable. And you can attack me for claiming that all you want in the comments. I've been through somewhat similar things, definitely not the same things, but somewhat similar things, and that's all I gotta say. So I find it very inappropriate to bring her into that kind of sphere as a child who knows no better, a child, you know, you guys as adults, you know better. You have choices that you can make easily to be like, you know what? This is a bad idea. Like, I shouldn't do that. And just because the parent gives you permission, it doesn't like always mean like, yeah, I should do that. Like, you have the choice to make your own. Like, you have the choice to make your own decisions, right? You're able to do that. Your decisions, Bop House, were to platform a into a adult content sphere for phony brands. Your brand is very phony. So, listen. One of these girls, again, don't remember their names. She often calls Piper her mini-me in these videos. I find that a little bit strange to call a child your mini-me. I mean, yeah, call a child your mini-me, whatever. But to call a child your mini-me when they're in a content house like that, and while you are more often than not promoting that kind of content, that subconsciously pinpoints into her brain, you know, things, and that's like, it kind of makes her feel closer, connected, comfortable. And by doing that, I'm not saying it's a conscious form of there, but I mean it is a form. Another one of the girls, again, don't know her name, I didn't see her in the videos with them, I will be so honest with you guys. Whenever I was looking into their link trees and I was looking into the people that are in this content house, one of them, actually no, a few of them do have braces, which in its own is whatever. Like, plenty of adults get braces. That's okay. I'm not dogging on that. It's just a combination here. She has braces. She tends to prefer wearing pigtails, and she likes to wear shirts that say let's be real. This is getting into a very odd section of while bringing a into the equation. Why is a in a phony brands content creation house with one of those phony brands content creators giving Belle Delphine vibes? We know what kind of people used to pay attention to Belle Delphine, right? I think we do at this point. That's uncomfy. And I'm not saying every single person, you know, is like that about that kind of thing. I'm just saying that there are very uncomfortable connections between them, especially bringing a child into that sphere while having at least one member doing stuff like that. And I didn't pay for anything. This is all there. Like, it's all there. Like, I'm probably gonna include screenshots and blurred like sections of it so that it's like not super uncomfortable, but it's all like there and free to view and takes little research at all. If I went deeper, I probably would have like an hour to like probably 3 hour long video about this, but I just wanted to give the gist of the discomfort that is happening here and push this out to more people just in case this gets suggested to people that haven't heard about this or that don't know about this or aren't on that side of the internet. Personally, I think it's important to bring this to the attention of the Bop House and maybe have them please take down the videos with her, disconnect and take accountability, you know, apologize. That's not something that's normal and okay to do. And those that come to the defense of it, I'm questioning you. I forgot to include this. Yeah, so the girl that makes the content, so to speak, she's also a neuroscience person. She studies neuroscience. And how does a neuroscientist not see the problem with this? You study the brain, babe. I study psychology. You study the brain, and I know what's wrong with this. You know way more. What do you should know better. I also somehow completely forgot to include the fact that they did a collab with James Charles. You know, the guy known for like 16-year-olds and whatnot and talking uncomfortably about people without their permission, and that has been exposed for platform with straight men and whatnot. That James Charles, yeah, right after Piper. Hi babes, so it's later. There's also another concerning video that I looked into, and it's this one right here. I'll just show it. And they joke about the Glow House, and I looked up the Glow House, and the Glow House is literally a content creation house for children. Come on now. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'm sorry that it was a hard topic. I really couldn't think of a way to make it very lighthearted. It's not a lighthearted one, so I apologize for that, and I hope that the viewer discretion was advised throughout this. Thank you for coming along with me on this little journey. I hope it was fun for you. It was demented for me. Bye-bye. No, but for real, like, can people stop doing this to children? It's not fair. Their main income source and the main content that they are promoting is their only brand, or